Happy Wednesday, Buck fans. What's going on? Welcome to another great episode of Bucs Report, the Aftermath 102.9 The Game, Broad Street South Radio. It's one of your hosts, AJ. Turn up in the house. How y'all doing out there? Look, again, football's 24/7 over here. We got a lot of shit to catch up on because I know Buck fans, we got a lot of things riding this season. This is a do or die off season. This offseason is going to determine whether the Bucs can get to the promised land or we take another step back and stalemate. So we got a lot of shit to discuss when it comes from draft prospects, the free agency, the mindset of how to pick a right player to help get your team to the next level. So without further ado, let's get Coach Slick on here, aka the British guy who's always flying on standby. There he is. How you doing, sir?
It's just another off season, right? We gotta get it right, get them hyped, and get ready to fucking knock it out.
And get ready to knock it out. And I'd like to discuss that because we'll get to the draft prospects in a little bit. But Buck fans, we have to understand this. You got to understand the type of team that you have when it comes to the off season. You got to understand whether this is a rebuild team, a team that still is on the come up, and a team that is all in. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers is an all in. The window of opportunity to be a Super Bowl team is now. Now, why do I say that, Buck fans? The draft is important. It's never not important. But this season is the free agency. That is what we need to be looking at. We have to snag a star so we can be a legit threat. And we already know the elephant in the room. We know what's out there. We need a fucking pass rusher. So that is what is necessary. So we're going to break things down on why that is important for free agency rather than the draft, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, I'm going to switch it to Coach Slick, the defensive-minded genius guru right here that's going to break things down because this has to be reiterated because too many Buck fans out here are putting their hopes and dreams into this draft. Guys, we're going to get the fucking greatest pass rusher there ever was, and we're going to be just fine. We don't need to swing for the fences. What about Godwin? What about this? We don't have this. We're going to be fine. We just need to get these pieces, and we're all going to get that in this draft, this great draft. Slick, take it away.
Okay. So the last 2 years, we have had to rely on the draft to get our best players. And mainly so because we didn't have a lot of money. And not just that, we had a lot of guys to re-sign. This year is not a big re-signing year. There's no mega free agents other than Chris Godwin's probably the biggest free agent. Last year was like worse. Last year was also Mike Evans. There's almost 50 million there already. So let's look at it from a different perspective. Now, I know, ideally in the real world, you want to go and get your guy. You want to handpick him, hand-grown, bring him to the farm and get ready. But if you think this team's a Super Bowl team and it's just a pass rusher away, this is where I think you need to go down the free agency, or probably better for the Buccaneers, get as best value as they can into the trade-in world. Now, the reason I say this is because, guys, we pick at 19. 19 is nothing. There's not many. If someone can want to dispute me, that's absolutely fine. Go and tell me how many guys who were drafted 19 or later that were elite pass rushers in their first year. Elite pass rushers, or at least a double-digit sack dude in their first year, drafted 19 onwards. And you will struggle, which means you're looking for 1 in a million kind of player. The chance of the Buccaneers landing it in a year where the pass rush isn't as high It's probably, I'm not going to say impossible because I never believe in that word, but it's extremely unlikely. So why not mortgage 2 picks, definitely the 2 first rounders this year, next year? If this team continues to do what it did last year with the talent that it's got, it's at least getting another 19. So you're at least giving away 2 19s. Who gives a shit? Or what about you gave away a 19 and a 25, or a 19 and a 30, or a 19 and a 31, or maybe a 19 and a 32? Who gives a shit? No one's going to care. I understand if you think this team's going to end up with a top 10 pick next year, you've already decided that the Buccaneers suck and you're just waiting out the season. You're just getting through the season to survive, right? The rest of us believe that there's more to this, and all we need to do is get this piece. If the Buccaneers land this piece, and I promise you this, my own experiences tell me this too. You land a pass rusher, your back end will instantly get better. Now, why do I say that? If the quarterback's job is to get the ball to the playmakers, wide receivers and tight ends, running backs. Pass rushers limit the amount of time that he has to make those decisions.
That's right.
DBs have a certain amount of coverage that they've got to apply before guys get open. Because eventually, someone will get open. If you ever watch a one-on-one drill and it's just purely wide receiver versus DB, and they can run any route they want, like they can do whatever they want, DBs rarely win. You go and find drills where you've seen like a Tyreek Hill and somebody, and Tyreek Hill runs circles around him because they can. But that doesn't happen in a real game because eventually they're going to get the quarterback's going to get his head knocked off. There's so much stuff that gets lost in the sauce of there's 4, 5, 6 guys coming to take their head off. Not only that, you also have the coverage, things are moving around. It's not as simple as just a one-on-one drill. Anyone can win a one-on-one drill. It's not special. You can run as hard as you want and then just throttle back down and just take that little pop pass. You've already completed your pass. You're done. You did your thing. But I am telling you, you get a solid pass rusher, you instantly get back better on the back end. It happened last year, the year we went to the Super Bowl. We had premier pass rushers. The second year, the same set of pass rushers. DBs were balling. Where are all those DBs now? 2 of them are on 2 different teams.
And then they haven't made much of a big impact.
And they haven't made an amazing impact either. The impact is your pass rush disputes the amount of time the quarterback has in the pocket to make decisions. Now, I will also say this. It works the opposite way as well. DBs that can cover and cover well will buy extra time for the pass rush to get home. Now, the reason I say this is Billy bullshit coverage, cushion coverage, doesn't help that. Because if you're giving someone a free release and a free chance to just catch a 5-yard ball or a 3-yard slant or a 5-yard drag, it's a wrap. Your pass rush is never getting home. Your pass rush ain't getting home because it's going to be quick hitters all day. That's why you have to revolve the coverage around the situation. If they need more yards, you can play off a little bit. If you need shorter yards, you need to play down a little bit. That's right. The art of play call. It's as simple as that. It's not as crazy as you think. There's more to it than that, but a simplistic version from a high school football level, that's pretty much all you need. Go get the pass rusher, and I guarantee you, I wouldn't put money on it because I'm not a better man, but I fundamentally believe the pass rush will strengthen your back end. And if you somehow draft a good guy in the second round that can start at safety or start at corner straight away, maybe it gets even better. Maybe Dean just had a down year and rebounds this year.
Yeah, that's a big stretch right there. I'd put money on that.
1 year. I'm not going to say he's been decent. He's been decent for most of his career. So yeah. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt until I see 2 years in a row where I'm like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. You're going to give him, especially in a contract year, the year they get paid. And again, we also paid Dean. That's another person. spend the money on a pass rusher, go get your guy, and let's see what fucking happens.
100%. And I want to go further into that when it comes to drafting. Also, when in this free agency, you have seen the resume of what someone in free agency has done rather than the NFL draft. The NFL draft is just a guess. It looks like that person might do something, but what you have seen from a veteran, you know what to expect. I'm talking about a Myles Garrett. I'm talking about a Crosby, a Hendrickson. You know what they are going to bring. You don't know what a draftee will bring. What if the draftee, it takes time for them to get up to speed? And what if their potential is 2 to 3 years down the line? Prime example, Slick Broswell showed signs of flashes, but for people to expect him to be dangerous immediately, I said that's not realistic. A pass rusher, it takes time. Jared Verse, who was defensive rookie of the year, had 4.5 sacks. That wasn't special. Hell, Yaya had a better rookie season. He was a 4th-round pick. This is what we're trying to say. When you are in a win now Super Bowl window team, you have to go all in. You have to push everything to the table, and you can't leave anything to chance. A Myles Garrett would make such a major contribution to this Buccaneers organization. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Evans is not getting any younger. If Godwin, and by you doing what you're doing in free agency, that keeps a Levante David here. That makes Godwin say, I'm willing to take less money so I can go and win another Super Bowl with this organization. And remember, this is Florida, baby. There is no state tax. So Godwin would rather be comfortable in a situation where he has Mike Evans complimenting him on the other side, where he's going to make money, but they know they're going to be a successful team. That's what we want to get Buck fans to understand when it comes to this free agency. This Buccaneers team is literally a pass rush away from a Super Bowl contender, just like in 2020 where we were a quarterback away. That's why we went all in for Tom Brady. And then when Brady came, Gronk came, Leonard Fournette came, AB came. So imagine if a Myles Garrett gets here, somebody else from that's a free agent, a Khalil Mack, a Bosa. But either way, they might be, you can get them for cheap. What if Khalil says, oh shit, Myles is here? I'd be willing to do a 1-year deal for like 8-9 million. You see where we're going with this, Buck fans? And then let's get back to the draft since you guys want to talk about it. We know the great Jason Light makes very great. He puts his foot in there in the 2nd, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. He's found so many gems. This is a draft of depth, not star power. Get that out of y'all heads, Buck fans. This team doesn't need, all we need is average corners, an average linebacker that can help in pass coverage. We got Savasier Dennis, who's shown signs of flashes. All we need right now is for Levante. We just want you to do your job. We don't want you to play hero ball. Just do your job. We can stay healthy. We need to have depth, rotational players. So that's why free agency this year is more important. I'm willing to give up two firsts for Myles Garrett, 2 firsts and a 3rd. You got to give that shit up anyway, regardless. It doesn't matter. Buck fans, what if someone told you right now, hey, look, we're willing to give you Myles Garrett, or better yet, Max Crosby, Slick. You just got to give us 2 first rounds, a 3rd, and Rachaad White. Are you pulling the trigger, Bucks fans? You know damn well you are. You're pulling that trigger because now we can draft a Rachaad White. That ain't nothing. And we got Bucky and we got Sean Tucker. Godwin will say, oh, shit, I'm staying. Now we're set. Now that's where Jason Light will do his magic. But again, if this was the Bucks from 2023, I'd understand. Build it up. Slick said it. Back then, we had no choice to build. But now, this do or die, motherfucker. This is do or die, Buck fans. We have You look at what your Bucs did to the Super Bowl champions. I'm not impressed by the Eagles, and neither should you. The Bucs with a pass rush will mud stomp the fuck out of the Eagles. And I'm
I have a
putting
question for
money
you.
on that. What's up?
You're a Bucks fan, and I say this to all Bucks fans. Do you want to go quietly into the night, or do you want to make such a fucking loud ruckus that everyone remembers your team?
Oh,
I
everyone
know which one
remembers.
I fucking want.
I want to bring the
I won't
pain.
go no quietly into the night because that's
Nope.
the level the Buccaneers are playing now. Remember the Seattle Seahawks? They went NFC Championship game, didn't get it. They lost in the NFC Championship. Won the Super Bowl the following year. Went to
Yep.
the Super Bowl the following year, and after that, it just kind of fizzled out slowly. Right?
Right.
If you don't make the right moves, that could be us fizzling out because we've lost that window. They had that Legion of Boom, and that it started to fizzle out. Parts wanted to leave because they could get more money because of X, Y, and Z. Insert reason here. It got disbanded. Right now, the core nucleus of this team is pretty young.
Yep.
Right now, the core nucleus of this team is still here.
That's right.
You have a great opportunity to keep everyone here, but you need pieces to just kind of punch the back door in and go, fuck everyone, we're gonna go for it.
That's
right.
right.
Do not go quietly into the night.
And
Make a ruckus.
talent. Don't fucking waste talent. San Francisco, prime example. It's sad
Yeah,
to
wait
say
it now
George
because
Kittle,
everyone else is taking advantage of it. Because
everyone's taking advantage. George Kittle's not going to get a ring, and that's a true tight end who's better than fucking the slot receiver in Kelsey by far. Fred Warner, the best linebacker in the game. They had a squad, but they squandered it. Like Slick said, I don't want that. To me, that's worse. That's terrible. That's literally like
I think for them, it's quarterback.
Yep.
They need an adult in the room as at quarterback. This is just me spitballing and just my thoughts and feelings on it, but
yes.
I think they need a prolific quarterback, not a game manager. They need someone with a bit. If I were them, I'd go and trade with. I would, if they want a ring and like almost guarantee. No one say almost guarantee themselves a ring. Go and get someone like a Stafford. Go and get somebody with some like. Fuck it. I mean, I don't know. Go and get Aaron Rodgers. Test the fucking track with Aaron Rodgers because that's better than Brock Purdy. Believe me, I just don't see it, anything more materializing from him.
You're 100% on the money. Brock Purdy is a system guy. We understand what happens when the system falls apart. So does he. I'm putting this out there. Brock Purdy, look, Jalen Hurts is just one step better. But here's the only reason. The Eagles did what we're saying. They went all out. They're going to be paying for this shit soon as well. They're going to have to pay in that Super Bowl bill. But that's what you said is right, Slick. Brock Purdy is not the guy to take that team to the next level because he's not that individual. Hell, maybe Sam Darnold. Put somebody else in there but Brock Purdy. You are right. You can't have a game manager. You actually need a gunslinger or someone that's willing to throw the ball deep down
someone
the field.
Who can manage the game, but also have that mentality of like take over a game. Like Baker can take over a game. We've seen him do that, and it's not just in glimpses; it's consistent, right?
Right.
Brock Purdy, I don't have a problem with Brock Purdy as a quarterback. I just think he benefits greatly from a good defense and a lot of star power. Eventually, to take that leap. And I say, if you put Brock Purdy on the Buccaneers don't have the success that they had. Guarantee you that they do not have the success that they have.
100% they do not. I agree with you 100%. That's why I think you have to have a quarterback that has the tenacity of a Baker. And what's up, JT Olsen? Look, that's why you go all in now because I just said it earlier. Mike Evans isn't getting any younger, but Mike Evans still has 2, to me, good years left in him to get it done.
Don't waste him on a nothing year.
Yep, don't
waste him on a nothing year because if you go draft a pass rusher, it's gonna be. And I'll be nice to say this because I'd never ever want to say anything negative about the Buccaneers. You're probably looking around about maybe we win a playoff game. maybe we go to the NFC Championship. Maybe,
Yeah.
and I'm talking about all the other contributing factors that could come into play, like Yaya could step his game up. Somebody else will maybe steps their game up. Other players like revolve. Like a lot of things have got to go right for that to happen.
Yeah.
But right now, if the Buccaneers were saying we pay for our squad, we're bringing a few free agents, and they have their draft, I'd say the Buccaneers are probably picking between 19 and 25.
Yeah. And I can't have that. I cannot have that. I don't want to
And when you
see that.
say you got a guy with 2 years left, you believe he's got 2 prime years. You want to use those prime years for Super Bowl years. You don't want to use his dying out years.
No, that's exactly, and that's what can happen. Bucs fans, do you want to see that? That means that's a slow death now, like you said, and that also could Levante, if he does come back. This is, I think, at this point, this is his last year. Whatever
I
happens,
think
he's
so.
like, I'm done. If Levante will
He
say,
lasts a long fucking time, man. Like that guy
oh,
is.
absolutely. But this is another way to help Buck organization. You want to make sure and ensure that your guys, Evans and Levante, are first ballot fucking Hall of Famers. Go out there and get a pass rusher and get them a ring to add on their resume. Imagine this, Slick. Levante wins another Super Bowl. He retires.
Didn't
Now,
go and do it. Didn't have to go and find a veteran team to go do it. That's the
yeah,
key here, right? A lot of players will go like, let's say, like you have someone with Levante David level stats, and they have the opportunity to come back and they go and find a San Francisco 49ers, or they go and find, I'm not saying that team, but like that kind of caliber team that's in what people call in the playoff hunt or what have you, and they go and win a ring in a more diminished role, maybe not as big. It doesn't look as bright.
right.
Yeah. When it's all said and done, it's like, oh, you got your second ring. Like, for example, JPP's 2 rings. They're great because he was a starter on both teams. He had
Yep.
impact on both teams. I believe one he was a rookie, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But he had an impact. Those 2 rings speak volumes.
That's
When
right.
you've done it with the same fucking team and there's a gap. So it's not like you went back to back. It wasn't like your team was super stacked. Your team went through some trials and tribulations. They changed their quarterback. They changed this. They changed that. They changed this. And then you get back and you win it.
You went, right. That's a story right there. Again, and he has the stats already, but now 2 rings it's at that point undisputed. Now they can't, the people who make the voters, they gotta go, hey guys, he's got 2 fucking rings. And he did it, like you said. You know who kind of reminds me of Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis won early in his years in 2000, and then he won in 2012. So it took him another 12 years to get to the promised land. And he did it. He was dominant, of course. Now, I'm not saying Levante's Ray, but the point is, you just said it. Man, you didn't win back to
Speaks
back.
volumes.
And you've been through it. You've been through the 56-14
5-year difference.
Yep. And you were still playing at that level, because we expect Levante to be at a good level. We don't need him to be great. That was the problem last season, in our opinion. There was too many games or instances he had to be 2015
fucking
Levante.
Superman.
Yeah, and
That's
that's
fucking Superman. He can't look. You can see the signs that he's slowing down, but
right.
if you pair him with the right person, that doesn't matter.
That's right. It doesn't matter, and that's what we need, Bucks. This is why the free agency is there. That linebacker, I think, from Tennessee Titans, you go get him. If you can't get a Myles Garrett, if you can't get that, at least try to go get a Hendrickson, or if you can't get Hendrickson, get a Khalil Mack, get a Tennessee Titans guy. We get you. Slick said it. Solid. Solid doesn't mean necessarily the best of the best, but it means something more competent. I guarantee you, getting a Khalil Mack is a far better step over than JTS. I guarantee you, the Tennessee Titan linebacker is a far step over JTS, who's probably not even going to be here. You got to show Levante and your Buccaneers team that we're here to kick ass, and we mean business. If anything, this is an important thing to the offense too. You're showing Baker and Evans, we don't want you to have to be heroes all day. We want you to do your jobs, and we're going to help you out. That's what we want. We don't remember. Dungy had that problem. That's why the defense, as Seth said, we love Dungy, but he didn't hold the other side of the team to the same standards. Bowles, light, you go get good defensive players. Now you're setting a precedent that we're here to win this shit. We're here to be the big dogs. And wouldn't it be so sweet, Buck fans, to dethrone the punk ass Eagles? We own them anyway, but now that they got their little high, the Eagles, Philly fans is just talking all kind of shit. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna be back-to-back Super Bowl champions. This is the best team we've ever seen. Oh, better than the 2021 Bucs roster? Yeah. Really? Better than AB, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk, Brady, Fournette, Wirfs, that line, Jensen, and that team? Are you serious? Well, I mean, really? Exactly. That team was the team to beat, not your little ass team. I'm sorry. So, Buck fans, you have the team to do it. We did that shit last year, Slick, handicapped. But for the past 2 seasons, we kind of been handicapped. Imagine we load up and we get back in this shit with just a solid pass rush. Now your corners ain't out there on the island. Now the corners that were probably mediocre can be.
Here's a question for you, AJ. I firmly believe this, and I'm not sure how you think about it, but I'll go with that's the second part of my question. First part of my question is, do you think that he did this cushion coverage because he did not trust his corners?
I'm gonna give you 2 answers. Yes, but also I think Bowles second guessed himself. He's not the clutch. He's not aggressive. If he had, if Bowles had the tenacity of a Dan Campbell, the Bucs, they don't win the Super Bowl, but they get to the NFC Championship.
Okay.
In my
opinion.
Here's
the thing I'd add on top of that. Do you think with a premier pass rusher, he would trust them more?
Yes.
He's going to open up that playbook. He's going to trust his corners and say, look, guys.
Yes.
I expect you to play because the heat's coming.
Yes. Yes, I do think he would do that because we've seen it when he had Shaq and JPP. He experimented a lot more as well because the offense, wink, wink, could bail him out if shit went bad. So even if he did, a prime example, remember when we played the Chargers in 2020 and Justin threw a few touchdowns, but our offense said, we got your back. You good. And then what happened at the end of the game?
They shut it down. The defense shut it down, and the offense just went to work.
Exactly.
It was perfect. Yes. It was perfect football. They responded to Bowles and his halftime adjustments and what he usually does. Because I always say he's a really good halftime adjuster. He's not so great in the first half of adjusting here and there, but not every coach is perfect. But you go with what you go with. But you usually know that you won't get fooled twice, 9 times out of 10.
Yep.
And then secondly, halftime, the adjustments usually come in and they're usually pretty solid. If you can get up to a lead and he can limit the damage, that's how the Buccaneers work, right?
Yep, and look, dude is about to come in here and grace us with his presence in a second because he ready to go off in this motherfucker. So come on in here, dude.
All my diamonds shine, cause they really diamonds. Bad bitches in line, they be really trying. They ask me if I'm high, I say really, really. Got money on my mind, I say really, really.
Hey, fat guys shouldn't crip walk. That's all I'm saying. Hey, I got so many things to get off my chest, dude. I'm over here like Dolly Parton, bro. I know we haven't quite got to it, so I'm going to piggyback off some of the stuff you said. Look, even Khalil Mack transforms the pass rush to the point where it affects the total win-loss outcome for the season. Hendrickson, great get if you can do that. Tennessee Titan, JT down there in the chat, just put out an article why the Bucs should go after him. His measurables, he's basically Levante David Light, and that would be Harold Landry, or we will call him Roldy for short on Harold. Todd Bowles, stop eating. Raheem Morris, tell me you're a bitch without telling me you're a bitch. Oh, I think that it should be banned because the tush push is really, really, really hard, and it's cutting into my going out clubbing routine every night. So I don't know, just ban it, please ban it. And Todd Bowles is like, and I'm gonna do AJ's impersonation. Yeah, well, it's up to the defense to figure out a way to stop it, and that's how we have to play this. And good for them for being innovative. We just have to step up. So,
not wrong, man.
Raheem, Green Bay Packers organization. Raheem Morris. You can't just ban shit because you don't know how to stop it. Grow a fucking pair and stop it. I mean, the Chiefs are the biggest victim of this so far. Hell, they had their fucking nose tackle turned sideways trying to figure out how to stop it like he was a stepladder or something. Homeboy jumped over the offensive line how many times on that goal line stand in that game? 5 times or something? It can be done because the Bucs have done it. And speaking of these, oh my God, the Eagle Empire. Hey, you're 4-1 against us with Todd Bowles. 4-1. That's not your 4. That's our 4. We're 4-1 against you guys. All right. Hey, Philly. The buck stops here, bro. And Dynasty, I hope you're talking about fantasy football because that shit ain't going to happen for you as an organization. And that's the problem with this media. Every fucking time someone wins an award or wins a fucking championship, are they a budgeting dynasty? No, motherfucker. Get to 3 or 4 championships in a 5 to 6 year period, and now we'll start talking. Go do some New England Patriot Tom Brady shit, and then we'll start talking. Go do some Joe Montana 49er shit, and then we'll start talking. Hell, go do some Terry Bradshaw Pittsburgh Steelers shit, and then we might have a conversation. But right now, you've got 2 rings, just like the Bucs. And the funny part is, you've been in the league way longer than the Bucs, and we got ours before you on both occasions. And one of them, while we trampled through your fucking house that was called Veterans Stadium and closed that fucking monstrosity down. So, Eagle fans, congratulations. Now sit the fuck down because it doesn't matter today. What happened in that Super Bowl? That shit's gone. That team is gone. The team you played against, that's gone. They're not there. It doesn't exist. Eagles, while you're fucking climbing fucking light poles and eating fucking horse poop, all the other teams are gunning for you now. You're still, a month later, patting yourselves on the back, and we're all over here going, keep talking, motherfucker. Keep talking. Keep talking. We got this notepad here, and we ain't gonna forget. So, Eagle fan, again, congratulations. Sit the fuck down. Raheem Morris, grow a fucking pair, bro. I don't give a fuck if you have to go to Mexico or Tijuana and get a set installed. There's been plenty of people out here that's had their shit chopped off. Maybe there's an extra pair laying around for you to have, buddy. Todd Bowles, the value menu isn't meant to be ordered completely. Okay? I'm a fellow fat guy, but I'm not an NFL coach who 5 years ago looked like he could run a Boston Marathon, and now it looks like you ate half of fucking Boston. Jason Light, it's been 14 days since I got on here and pointed out to everybody that this is your time. This is your time to shine. All right, you got the Godwin negotiation started by getting that extension pushed back. Good job. But what the fuck else you done, bro? Nothing. And I get it. You're kind of handicapped or your hands are tied because of the way the offseason plays out. but you can do contract extensions, renegotiations. You can rework contracts now. You did cut Jordan Whitehead today. That's coming out reports not only from Adam Schefter of ESPN, but Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times, PewterReport.com, and as well as Greg Oman from Fox Sports. So Jordan Whitehead, one and done in his second stint with the Buccaneers. Jordan, you don't have to drive fast, bro. Okay? You came in at $4.5 million salary, and you played at about a $3.25 million level, and then you go out and get in a car accident with reckless driving. Why? My question is why? That said, you're on the unemployment line now, bro. The Buccaneers are going to make you an offer, but trust me when I tell you, it's going to have the word veteran minimum in it, and there's going to be a lot of incentives that include not being a fucking dumbass and getting your car wrecked and fucking your neck up. I mean, you do know you're a defense and you tackle, so you need a solid neck. That said, Antoine Winfield Jr., sounds like you running solo again, bro, unless the Buccaneers do something in free agency in the draft to help you out. That said, this draft got some safeties in the second and third round grades that are looking pretty sweet. So, Buccaneer fans, Buccaneer content creators, after today's news with Jordan Whitehead, you have to adjust your mock draft. You have to adjust your priority rankings. And right now, we all know we need edge rushers. We all know we need linebacker to play with Levante or take the throne from Levante. We all know we need DBs, and now we definitely need a safety. We only got 6 picks, and half you guys out there have us trading half of those for Myles Garrett. So keep in mind, we get Myles Garrett. That's a game changer. That's going to make everybody around him better. Okay, but then you're going to have 3 picks this year, and you're going to be missing at least 1 next year. You're going to have to give up 3 or 4 draft picks total to get a Myles Garrett. My opinion, you target, as you guys mentioned, a Khalil Mack, this kid Harold Landry, somebody who you can get, whether it be via trade or cheap on the free agent. And as we talked in the pre-show thing here, there is no edge rusher at 19 that's going to be worth an edge rusher at 19. Hell, people can argue with me till the cows come home. There's no quarterback worth taking in the first round if I'm picking. Now, keep in mind, that's my opinion. That said, at 19, all the mock drafts that I've run, the bullshit simulations on all the different websites that do it, there keeps coming offensive guard up at 19 as well as wide receiver. And I've seen a couple mock drafts where they say, we're picking a wide receiver for the Bucs at 19. That only makes sense. That only makes sense if you don't sign Chris Godwin.
And don't get someone in free agency.
And don't get a free agent. Right. That said, I'm a big Chris Godwin fan. Hell, I wrote the draft profile on BucsReport.com before they drafted him that long ago. I've been a Penn State Chris Godwin stan for a while. But 2 catastrophic injuries, you're pushing 30. Free agency, he's going to command upwards of $20 million, if not more, per season. Bucs fans, even with the Jordan Whitehead cut, there's around 10 to 11 million in cap space. Now, I know we're going to generate some cap room. That's obvious. But 20 million with all the void years, you can get that down to about 10 million. Is that worth Chris Godwin at 29 coming off his second catastrophic injury? I'm not saying yes or no one way or the other. I'm saying it's a discussion that needs to be considered. That said, perfect situation. You get Levante back, you get Chris Godwin back, and you pick up one of these edge rushers that's going to have an impact that we're talking about, whether it be trade or free agency. You have to get pass rush. You have to get to the quarterback. Not with blitzing. Blitzing's awesome. You got to be able to figure out how to get there with 4 guys, dude. And that's why the Eagles dominated in the playoffs. Nobody could block their front 4. And as I said a couple weeks back, and I'm sure AJ and Slick can dive into this at some point, either tonight or another show, the Eagles are going to be missing or losing some of those guys that created that 4-man pass rush. They're not going to be able to keep them all. I don't think Eagle fans realize every one of those players wants a raise now. Every one of those players' agents are like, yeah, now we're renegotiating a Super Bowl champion player's name here. So, Eagles, again, congratulations. But now is when we get to find out if you're a one-hit wonder or if you're a legitimate bona fide year in and year out contender, because there is no team in the National Football Conference, the NFC, that has been to the playoffs more consecutive years right now than the Buccaneers. So laugh at the division, laugh at, oh, well, you had Brady and now you don't. We haven't missed the playoffs in 5 years. Billy, you're up. That said, guys, I do appreciate once again every week, all week, that you guys taking the time out. AJ up there in the DMV, Slick over there in the UK. It's like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the fucking morning. Who knows? Hell, there's probably chickens fucking crowing outside and shit. We appreciate everything you guys do. That said, I'm going to do a shameless plug here before I jump off, because the reason I'm jumping off is because of this shameless plug. Ladies and gentlemen, in the continental United States, $9.99 for any size, any toppings, amount of toppings, Domino's Pizza. I just ordered 6 of them, motherfucker. So it's pizza night over here at the Dude Ranch. Again, we appreciate all the time that you guys put into this and all the time you take. That said, I know you guys got a baby bitch thing going on later. I want to throw Raheem Morris and the Green Bay Packers in there as consideration. But I also want to throw in, and I want to stick to sports here, even though it's a little hard. Mainstream media. I'm not going to go into anything except for using this audio of this show on YouTube, just so it's on YouTube. Mainstream media. It's time to grow a fucking pair. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Don't bend your knee. Don't put your head down. Stick your chest out and speak truth to power, whether that be sports, social issues, anything. This is the time for everybody to rise up and step up to the occasion. That said, I can't wait to go to Publix supermarket tomorrow and get me a $7 fucking carton of eggs. That's going to be amazing. But what I really can't wait for is we got the Underwear Olympics coming up with the NFL Combine. For anybody that's actually been there or watched it, it's somewhat entertaining, but here's the reality. 9 out of 10 scouts or GMs that go to the Combine, it's all about the in-person player interview. That's what's important. As the Buccaneers have said, we try to take their game tape and hope it matches up with their interview at the Combine. Translation, we don't give a fuck what you're doing in shorts running around fucking cones. We want to see if your personality and character lines up with what we see on film. And if they do, we might consider picking you. That's a word of advice for all you fucking guys who aspire to go to the NFL or in college. Character matters at this level. The ability to overcome adversity, the ability to be told no and recuperate, recover, and rebound. These are all important. And this is what the Buccaneers and most winning organizations are doing at the Combine, is they're doing character checks. So with that said, I'm going to take my non-character ass out of here. I want to say thank you to both of you. And again, you got to get a pass rush, Buccaneers. Jason Light, you are on the clock. You've been on the clock. It's time to start pulling some of that magic fucking rabbits out of your hat. I know you lost some of your front office boys. I know the pizza party ain't going to be quite the same without all the longtime guys that have been there forever. But that said, Jason Light, a lonely Bucs nation turns its eye to you.
I mean, that's it, isn't it? Says it all.
That's it in a nutshell. We got to go out there and make it happen. Buck fans, do you understand now that this free agency is deeper than the draft? You have to go for it. Now, in a perfect world, if let's say if we could get Garrett and maybe give up just 2 first rounds and a 4 for some shit, but let's say if we can't get that, would you be happy if we could get a Khalil Mack and the guy from the Titans? How would that make you feel?
Yeah, but you can put the guy from the Titans. You're going to put them through camp, so you're going to find out who your best dude is out of the 3 guys that we got, the 3 horses that we got. And then from there, you're going to have one on one side, and the other 2 are going to be rotational pieces. So that, one might be more finesse, one would be speed or more power or what have you. So you have certain situational downs that you put those guys in, and that's how I would look at it from that perspective. In all fairness, looking at Landry, last year he got 9 sacks. The year before that it was 10.5. So he's not elite, but he's just a good pass rusher.
He's a good
And it's
pass
like
rusher.
bringing him here where they might be able to use him in different ways and be a bit more explosive in how they use him. We could get a little bit more off, but you're not going to get a heck of a lot more. But it's a start. And maybe the Buccaneers only have to give up a third round or a second round. That first round becomes still intact. You got to look at the options, and also the salary that comes with it, right? So by getting a Myles Garrett, you're going to inherit a large salary, which you might not have to pay until next year, but or
That's
you're going to
just
pay a little bit of it, but
that's
still, it's something you've got to keep it. It's in the ballpark of what you got to do, right?
right.
And I think that's how the Buccaneers are going to play this. But the pass rusher is an absolute must.
I
You can
agree.
go get a safety in the second round.
100%.
You can go get a linebacker in the second round or a safety in the third round. It can be done. You can probably find a workable safety in free agency that's not going to cost you an arm and a leg.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
But you get that pass rush, it will make a big difference. You won't find you can find affordable safeties. You can find affordable linebackers. They're not going to be great, but they'll do a job. You can't just do a job at the position we're talking about, a pass rusher. You have to be what we're looking for. Doing a job is getting 5 sacks.
Right.
We're not looking for doing a job. We're looking for jumping off the tape to a degree, right?
Yeah.
We know that Harold Landry's not going to fly off the tape and he's going to get a 15 sack season. Never say never, because it can always happen.
Right.
But hopefully, with the guys that we got, it pushes the competition up because there's a genuine body in there that's been pushing everyone. There was like, fuck, I need to make sure this guy doesn't take my job. I want to be a fucking role player for another year.
Mm-hmm. And getting a Khalil Mack. Now, if you can't get the superstars, you get enough pieces to where it still has the same effect. A Khalil Mack can get you a 7, which in force means, okay, Yaya's going to get a 7. Somebody else.
I mean, the
on the
Bucs
other
weren't
side,
that bad in sacks last year. It's just the pass rush wasn't consistent enough.
Nope.
So if you can get a better pass rush, if you can get better pass rushers, and they are, well, we know Coach Bowles might get more out of them than what they've got in their previous roles. It might be like, okay, you know when people believe it's a new, this is the year. This is the year. Mm-hmm. You got Mike Evans believing it. You got Levante David. You got, let's say you get Khalil Mack and Harold Landry. All of a sudden, you got buy-in and everyone's like, let's go. They believe.
Exactly.
Once they believe.
Yep. And I agree. And that's why let's say if we do that, let's say we get a Khalil Mack or someone of that caliber and we only end up losing a second round. I got a few players that I'm just going to throw out here, Slick, that are draft prospects. You might have heard of this guy. He's a Florida State corner. His name is Azari Thomas, 6'1", 4'5". I think the Bucs could get him maybe a third or fourth round kind of guy. He's pretty good. He got solid speed. He can be very useful in man coverage or zone. Mm-hmm. So I would look for him. I don't see him being a first or a second round pick. I could see him falling into the third or fourth.
That's good. I mean, look, the thing with corner, I wouldn't want to go early on a corner. The reason being is you are waiting for next year instantly. Okay. Look at most corners in the league generally.
Yeah.
Only your Jalen Ramses, and they are a top 10 pick.
Right.
We don't have a top 10 pick. So guys outside that will generally, they're second-year players. Look at the development of Dean, for the sake of argument. I know people can say he's not very good right now. That's irrelevant. Look at the Dean. His first year, he didn't start. Second year, he didn't start. The third year, I think, was the one that he started. And who else is exactly the same? Colton Davis started straight away because we had nobody else.
Right. That's true.
Right. There was nobody else. They got rid of Vernon Hargrave the third. God rest his soul. They got rid of that shit. They moved the fuck on, and they brought this guy in, and he was solid. And he was just he was just good. He wasn't great, and that's what you're gonna get if you go early on a corner straight away. And I don't think you need to go first round. I think you can get those kind of guys who play the same level in the second round.
Oh yeah, I got a third round linebacker right here. Nick Martin from Oklahoma State University. He's 6 foot. He runs a 4.55. He's actually very solid in man coverage, and he's a good tackler. So he's good in pass coverage. I mean, that's another guy to look out for. His name is Nick Martin. That's another guy I want you to think about. And then, of course, Georgia. I know you heard of Jalen Walker. Yep. I think honestly, like I said, we wouldn't be able to get him because that's a first round pick. Maybe if we get a Myles Garrett, I don't care. But if we can't, Bosa, I don't think is going to command the first round. But if we can keep Jalen Walker, if we find a way to get two solid, like an edge rusher and a linebacker in free agency, and then Jalen Walker is there, you go for it. I think he would fit very well with this Bucs defense. Get Jalen Walker. So that would be my other guy. And then I got a Marcus Harris. He's another corner from Cal. The guy is 5'11", 455, but he's a hell of a man press coverage guy. Another good tackler. You could get him in the 4th or 5th round. Because at least in rotation, the way that Bowles likes to utilize the DBs all over the place. I think they said something about Tyke Smith talking about he wants to play safety as well or something like that. So move him
out. I mean, you've got Christian and you can jump into that spot as well. I mean, it's not like with DB wise in the safety area, it's not like it's over, right? You could probably put something together. You could probably have certain downs where Christian Isden is the safety, because he didn't have it like I think he was the safety towards the end of the season. He didn't play pretty bad at all. No, he looked pretty decent. I wouldn't say he was great or anything, but it's another year in the scheme. And then you can work with him, and you've got Tyke Smith as well, so you can put one in the slot and interchange them. And do you know what that could mean? You could almost do like defensive motion. You could have one creep into safety, and while the other one comes down, like who's going where? You could play that because both can play both positions. So it'd be kind of interesting to see what they could do there. And on top of that, they can always go and get themselves a safety.
I agree. I mean, last question. Last question. I'm gonna wrap this one up for you. So, if you had to say, if we couldn't, let's leave Myles Garrett and Crosby off the table. What do you want to see in this free agency realistically for this Bucs? 2 things that realistically should happen for you, in your opinion, during the free agency.
I mean, the Howard Landry one is probably the easiest bet. The reason being is it's going to take less draft capital. Secondly, I just saw an article earlier. I'm just going to make sure I am 100% right on that. That both sides are happy for him to leave. So now you've got a guy who, and I always say this, when a guy wants to leave and the team's okay with him leaving, that means they want to shop him too. When you shop somebody, the value of, if I want to sell a gold watch, my gold watch, it's worth less me going to the pawn shop. But if the pawn shop approached me, it's in that lovely watch you keep wearing, how much would you want for it? The price is very different. One could be $200. The other one could be $500. The price is always different. Myles Garrett is a commodity that is going to be expensive for the sheer fact that the Browns haven't said anything about letting him go. Whereas we're hearing stuff about Landry that they are okay with him going. I'm just going to Titans give Edge permission to seek a trade. So if he can find somebody, they're willing to listen. So that's not like they're saying, yeah, we want rid of him, but they're giving him permission to go about his business and do his thing. So he is probably the easiest choice. Now, it depends on what you think of Joey Bosa and players like that. I believe Joey Bosa is more of a defensive end because of his body thickness, whereas Landry is a pure edge defender. So he is literally what you are looking for. Whereas even Myles Garrett, to a degree, I think he plays edge. He can play edge, but for the most part, has played defensive end more than he's played. But he's that talented that he could probably play both. Some people can. But with this kid or this guy, he could come in and do that job straight away, and you might get away with only having to give up a second round pick, and then maybe you come down in the draft with your first and trade down a little bit, gain another second round pick, and then maybe a fourth, which you can then mortgage into another third round pick.
Yep.
And then you've got 2 seconds and 2/3. Where does that boy like to live?
The second
Between
and third.
second and fourth.
He makes miracles happen. I like your. I said this. Can't get Miles or Crosby. That shit would suck. But get me Khalil Mack and Josh Sweat. I'm done.
Josh Sweat will be interesting, but I think Josh Sweat will cost a pretty penny only for the sheer fact that he just won a Super Bowl.
Okay, I'd be willing to give up a second for him. A second. I think
he's in the contract year. Give me a second.
Yeah.
I'm sure I heard he was the contract year.
Yes, because I think Khalil, you can get Khalil for the cheap. Not super cheap, but where he's not going to break the bank. So I think you find Josh Sweat, or if I cannot have Josh Sweat, here's another one that I wouldn't mind going after. And a lot of people might not agree, but I think he still has a little something left in him. Or, he has something. Give me Malcolm Kuntz.
Okay.
I like Malcolm. Again, serviceable. Someone serviceable that could do something. But yes, those are my guys right there that I want to get if I cannot have Miles or Crosby or Hendrickson. But I think that's a realistic thing. And like you said, Light will find a way to work something in the draft. I just want, and then when it comes to the draft, that'll be a full another conversation. But I just wanted to get out.
Sweat's a free agent, dude.
You still have who is Sweat's a free agent?
Yes, he signed his contract for a new renegotiation in 2024. 10 million, 1 year deal.
So there you go.
You could get Josh Sweat and the other guy.
Khalil Mack or Josh Sweat and
Harold Landry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Then you're going younger.
Then you're going younger, and then at that point, now Yaya and them can get their shit together, and then Slick, we back in this draft. Look,
I mean, could you imagine those two guys, and then you have the likes of Yaya Diaby and I can't remember the other from Alabama that we got.
Chris Braswell.
Yeah. You put those four together.
Yes, and we are looking at something amazing. So keep that in mind. Buck
one
fans.
of them makes a difference. Two of them blows the front doors off. Because you could have one side being the rotational side and the other side just being that dude. But now you got two of them. Oh my Lord, you've got fresh guys coming in from all over the place.
Exactly, with a team that's going to be hungry and with a sour taste in their mouth because of them in the playoffs and how they performed. So that is what's going to happen, guys. I'm speaking that into existence. I want to thank you again, guys, for watching Bucs Report The Aftermath 102.9 The Game, Broad Street Style Radio. Continue to check us out. Also, check me out on It's About Bucking Time. That's my YouTube channel. I'm going to be coming up with a mock draft soon. But as always, Slick, take care of yourself, brother, and go Bucs.
Go
take
Bucs,
care
brother.
of yourself, big dog.
Look out yourself. Okay, guys, that's the end of the show. For me, football is in full swing. We have we have an inter-team scrimmage with another team called the Hereford Stampede, who have been a long-time rival of this area of where we are. Not to the team that I coach, but the team I previously coached on, which was the Worcestershire Black Knights. Hereford and Worcester are very close to each other, so they are naturally our rivals. A lot of when Worcester went down, I went to Sandwell, the Steelers. and some of them went like semi-retired, and now they're all starting to like creep back into other teams, and predominantly that's going to be Hereford. So it can be kind of cool to catch up with a few people, and hopefully I can show them how far I've come as a coach, and hopefully I can show them what my team can do in our beatdown. So I had a bad practice last week. Put it right against an inter-team scrimmage. I will be more than happy. But on that note, guys, always remember, Bucs on me, Bucs on free. 1, 2, 3, go Bucs!
I don't know what.